Hello, and thank you for clicking on this video. So you're over 50, you're probably in pain. Maybe you have arthritis, maybe you've been in a car accident, you've had some kind of life event that has created chronic pain in your life. Maybe you're getting pain medication from your local doctor, or you're going to a pain management clinic. And you're getting probably oxycodone, Vicodin, or some kind of opiate. There's all kinds out there now. There's patches and all kinds of stuff. And you have to go there every 30 days to renew that prescription. You're tired of counting your pills. You're tired of looking at your watch every 4 to 6 hours like a maniac. You're tired of walking into a drugstore. This has happened to me. And saying, I'm here to pick up my prescriptions. And they ask you your name. And then you go, and they go, well, which prescription are you picking up? And you go, my pain medication. And they go, which one? And you have to say it out loud. And guess what? There's usually people behind you. So, most likely, because it's happened to me just about every freaking time, it's not ready yet. You're going to have to wait 20 minutes. And now you have to sit in the waiting room with all these people that are also waiting for other medications. And all these people start staring at you like you're some drug addict, some low life. It feels like you're a piece of shit. I know, I've been there. Another issue with being on opiates is that you have to schedule your life around your appointments. If you want to take a vacation, you have to make sure that your vacation falls either before or after your appointment. You can't get your medication early. You can't call a doctor because I've tried this and they kind of laugh at me. Hey, I'm going on vacation next week. Can you give me my prescription now so I have it so when I run out for wherever I am, I have it? And they're going to go, yeah, sure, buddy, because they think that you're just abusing them. And if you have to wait until you get back from your vacation, let's say it's 3 or 4 days after, you're 3 or 4 days out. Unless, and I've had to do this a couple of times, you were smart enough to cut back and have enough to just kill the withdrawals to get through the vacation. And why should you have to do that? That is insane. You're in chronic pain. This is bullshit. So, I can go on and on about different scenarios, stuff that I personally have been through, and I'm sure you got your war stories too. So, here we are. You know, this whole thing is frustrating and aggravating. And one day, you happen to hear somebody talking about this thing called Kratom. And it might be a coworker, it might be your teenage kids, or it might be just some kids in the neighborhood. And it kind of sparks your interest because you're sick and tired of the bullshit. So, what you do is, because now you're an older person and you don't want anybody looking, you go on your computer and you type in on your phone, Kratom. And it sparks some curiosity. When you Google that, you probably got a gazillion websites popping up telling you how bad it is or how good it is, and then maybe some in between. It can be a nightmare in itself to do the research. I know, and I'm going to say this again, I've been there and done that. I live in Florida. In Florida, there's a gas station on every corner and a smoke shop on every corner. I'm sure maybe wherever you live, you might have seen, at least in the gas station, these Kratom pills, these Kratom drinks, these Kratom potions, whatever the hell they call them. And if you're in Florida, you'll probably see the sign, "We sell Kratom." I bet you're asking yourself, as an older person over 50, this must be a younger generation thing. It must be like pot or something, something weird. And you're probably saying to yourself, if this was legit and legal, why doesn't my doctor prescribe it? Or why hasn't he even talked about it? Well, you're not too old. It is legit. And it's something you have to do your research on. I have been doing this for 10 years. And I'm still living. I'm still here. So we're going to talk about more of that down the road. I got to stick to these show notes. So as I said, you've probably seen it all over the place. Smoke shops, gas stations. Before I go any farther, this is my second take on this video. I just want to say I want to welcome you to my podcast called Turn It Up. I am your host, Al Maldonado, and I just want to thank you personally for being here. I have been on this journey for a long time, and this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this podcast. I'm doing this podcast because I want people, especially the older generation such as myself, to have an idea of what's out there. What are the alternatives? There are so many people in the United States alone that are in chronic pain, that are having issues getting into pain management, getting the proper dosage of pain medication. It's insane. This is America. What the hell is going on? I asked my doctor a couple of times, and he says, well, it's the opiate crisis. That's bullshit. Just because a few people abused it, I need it. I'm having chronic pain. Why do I have to deal with this? So I'm here to tell you that there are alternatives, and we're going to talk about that. My goals in this podcast, this show, is to give you a brief summary of what Kratom is, and that there's also different strains of Kratom. We'll talk about that briefly. I want to discuss my personal medical issues so that you can at least relate to me, of what I've been through. I'm going to discuss some of my clinical history. And I'm going to discuss my journey and how I got here. I'm also going to discuss the dosages that I take, what I take, etc. I'm going to discuss how it has affected my life. That's a good one. And my final thoughts after all of this. I truly hope that you stay through the whole video. I believe there's power in knowledge. Just saying. Before I go any further, I have to state this. It's one of those legality things. It's a legal disclaimer. So here we go. I got to read it because I don't memorize this stuff. In no way, shape, or form does this video express the views or the opinions of YouTube, Facebook, or any other social media platform, wherever you may see this. I am not, and I repeat, I am not a medical doctor. I strongly recommend that you speak to your doctor before trying Kratom or any other herbal remedies. You are solely responsible for doing your own research and your due diligence. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Period. Now that we got that BS out of the way. So, as you probably can guess, this video is about myself. I am over 50 and I'm a man. I have been through hell and back with this chronic pain issue. This may be for you and it may not be for you. You have to make the decision. And again, you have to do your due diligence and research. I strongly recommend that you do your homework. Kratom has become a very controversial subject. To date, it is not classified as a drug like opiates are. I guess they call it a class 2 drug. but it does affect your opiate receptors just as oxycodone or Vicodin and all the other stuff. It can be addictive and potentially dangerous if you abuse it. And yes, there are potential side effects, which we will talk about. There are millions of Kratom articles on Google. It can sway you depending on your mindset. Either way, it can tell you there's a million deaths, or it could tell you it saved a million lives. Somewhere in the middle, you have to find, and you have to make that decision. A lot of the deaths that they record come from people who have not only taken kratom, but have mixed it with other drugs and alcohol. They don't always tell you that part unless you really dig. So it's just like everything else. Verify, verify, verify. Please take your time. I've been doing this for 10 years. You've been in pain, I'm sure, for a long time. What is another week? What is another month? Take your time. It's your life. The outcome is solely up to you. Do your due diligence. And also, just because I am telling you this stuff, or anybody else is telling you stuff, don't believe it. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm saying it to you because you have to verify. And I'm going to keep saying this word verify, verify, because we're playing with something that could be potentially dangerous. So this is my journey. This is my research. I expect you to do your own. Okay, so let's begin. I have to read my show notes to stay on track. So what exactly is kratom? Kratom is a herbal substance derived from the leaves of the Mitragonea species tree, native to Southeast Asia, known for its stimulant and sedative effects. The overview on kratom. Kratom is a tropical tree belonging to the coffee family. That's crazy, ain't it? Primarily found in Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia. Its leaves are used to produce various products, including powders, capsules, and teas. The two main compounds in kratom are mitragonine, somebody correct me in the comments, and 7-hydroxymitragonine, that's terrible in English, which interact with the body's opiate receptors, leading to both the stimulant and sedative effects depending on the dosage. There are many different strains of kratom. There's red, there's green, there's white, there's yellow. Not only are there different strains, but there's another substrain called Maldonado. To keep this video as short as possible, you have to look that up. That's your homework. I take the green Maldonado for my pain. If you look it up, they say the red is the best for pain. I have found differently. And you can't bank on everything that's said out there. You have to try it yourself. I've tried the white, I've tried the yellow, I've tried the green and the red. And I have found, for me, personally, the green Maldonado kratom has worked for me. The only problem is that it's a stimulant as well. So you got to be careful the times you take it. So do your homework, do your research. That's what I'm going to say on that. So let's talk about me. I'm sure you must realize by now that this podcast is not only to give you information, but to tell you about me, what I've been through, so we can, you and I, relate. Some of my medical history. I have autoimmune disorders such as arthritis. I have overworked my body. I'm 63 years old. I was in the trades business. I did concrete. I did sheetrocking. I have beaten my body up. I've been in a car accident. I've fallen off a roof. I've had work-related accidents. Going back to the arthritis, because I tried just about everything possible. I have psoriatic arthritis. I've tried all kinds of biologicals, and none of them have worked for me. I wish they would. So I've had to take prednisone for it's going on almost 20 years. is insane because you're not supposed to take prednisone for more than, I guess, a week. The side effects from the prednisone are biting me in the ass now. They're creating bone spurs. I just had surgery on my right shoulder. I had a torn rotator cuff. When the doctor went in there, it was like a meat market went in there, a grinder went in there because of all the bone spurs. So he had to kind of rebuild whatever, the socket or whatever the hell is in there. That's part of the side effects. So it's another problem, which had given me pain. Some of my clinical, sorry about the dog barking in the background. Some of my clinical history, I was officially diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Autoimmune disease, arthritis. Told you about me trying biological treatments. I've tried various other pain management treatments, such as spinal taps. Oh my effing God. It was insane. That hurt so bad, and it did not help me. I'm not saying it won't help you. Do your homework. Verify, verify, verify. I've tried muscle relaxers. I've tried acupuncture. It helped a little bit, but at $80 a pop, times 2 times a week, times however long, it wasn't for me. I could not. Even if I could afford it, that's insane. It just, the pain relief was not enough. And you're probably saying, well, that's probably just one acupuncturist. I've tried many. Okay, I lost my train of thought here. Bear with me here 1 second. All right, so we went through my medical history, my clinical history, my journey. That's right. That's important too. I've been in and out of pain management clinics for the past, I don't know, 10, 12 years. No, 10 years. No, more like 12 years. I've tried various treatments. Like I said, I did the spinal tap thing, natural remedies. I've tried anti-inflammatory herbals, vitamins, you name it. I mean, I got a cabinet full of natural stuff that supposedly is going to stop the inflammation, which is a lot of the problem that I have through my autoimmune issues. I ultimately ended up going on opiates when I had this shoulder done. I'm going to say that was about 13 years ago. And I have a serious disdain for prescription drugs. Even as I was growing up, I hated taking aspirin, Tylenol, or anything like that. Well, the prednisone, did this shoulder, but it started off in my left shoulder. It created bone spurs in there, and it was so painful. I went through an orthopedic, and he said the only way we could take care of this is if we A, do surgery, or B, you take a cortisone shot, or C, I put you on opiates, and CA, we do the cortisone shots and the opiates. I couldn't do surgery right away because at the time the job would not give me the time off that I needed. And the other one was like, I'm not into prescription drugs, and I'm not into these big gigantic needles going in my arm. Well, long story short, after 3 months, the pain got worse, and I ultimately ended up going on oxycodone. It started me off at 5 milligrams, and that started my journey of the opiate stuff. It created a lot of problems for me. If you take opiates yourself, you know that there's the up and down. And in the very beginning, I had mood swings and all kinds of stuff. And my wife at the time was going, bullshit. At some point, I heard about Kratom. I don't remember exactly where I heard it. Somebody was talking about it. And I did what most people in chronic pain will do, that because they're so desperate, is I did my research. Now back then, there was the internet, but it wasn't as informational, as I should say, as it is now. So I had to go to libraries, talk to people, talk to this one, talk to that one. And for the past 9 years, I've been just trying different things, trying the different strains and trying different combinations, different times of the day, etc., etc. And it has been a game changer for me. Also, I have learned throughout this journey that there are, like opiates, are side effects. And one of those side effects is constipation. Wow. If you don't stay on top of that constipation issue, it's going to bite you in the ass, literally. I'm serious. You got to take fiber, you got to take a laxative, etc., etc. If you've been through it, you know. You know that you know. I've spent days sometimes on the toilet for over an hour with my butthole. I could put a tractor trailer through it. I know, TMI. All right, so what do I do, Al Maldonado? Well, first of all, I have ultimately ended up on the green Maldonado. I think I mentioned this before. They say that the red strain is for pain. I've tried them all, and the green Maldonado, the green vein, has helped me dramatically with my pain. I buy it usually in the 20-ounce pack, and it costs me around $38 here in Florida. It might be more or less where you are, I'm not really sure. You can also buy kilos, believe it or not, and they range from $60 to $80 depending on who it is. Kilos are a little more hard to get. So, like I said, I take the green stuff, and what I do is I take a spoonful like this, and I put it in a cup like this. It's a mixer. It's your basic mixer. I put some kind of powder. I use Hydromate because usually I take this in the morning and it's kind of helps wake me up, and it's a good for hydration. You can also make a tea or use iced tea, or some people use Gatorade. I use 8 to 12 ounces, so I mix it up and I chug it down. It's very grainy, gets stuck in your teeth, but you get used to it. In my worst days, I would take one of these 3 times a day. Since my shoulder surgery, which was a big part of my pain, I'm down to once a day and then maybe a casual second later on in the day, just because. It not only helps with the pain, but it's kind of like an opiate. It gives you a little bit of an up and puts you in kind of a good mood. It depends on the dose, and please don't go too crazy with it. The other thing that I do is I keep my doctor informed of what I do. He knows that I'm on Kratom. We do blood work every 3 months. Another potential side effect of Kratom is that it can affect your liver and your kidneys and all kinds of stuff. My doctor checks those levels every 3 months, and knock on wood, I've been good. There have been some people reportedly who've had issues because of this. Again, do your homework. We're all individuals. We're all going to have our own personal effects. You have to do your due diligence if you do start doing this, to talk to your doctor and get the proper blood work. And bite it early if you're starting to have kidney issues, your numbers start to rise. All right. How it affected my life. It's a game changer. I got off of opiates. I do still take tramadol once in a while up until this point on my shoulder, when my pain got really bad. It's not recommended to take Kratom with another opiate. I usually did a half a dose, and usually I did it at night. I took my opiate at night. Well, tramadol is really not an opiate, but it's kind of like an opiate. But I would do the Kratom during the day and take my tramadol at night. You have to be careful about mixing this stuff. But it has changed my life dramatically. I no longer have to sit at a drugstore. I no longer have to go every 30 days for my appointments. The tramadol, if I still want to do it, it's every 90 days. Um, it's a game changer, and it's changed my life. And I am over 50. I'm 63 years old. Um, who would have thunk it? Some of the side effects that I talked about before, such as the constipation, I do get headaches once in a while if I overdo it. That's before when I used to really take a lot of it. I'm not going to be doing that anymore. But it can make you potentially have a headache, can make you dizzy, the constipation, and of course, issues with your kidneys. You got to stay on top of that. Um, it's just, oh, and one other side effect which is so important, and I found this out recently, is that for some reason, certain strains of kratom act as blood thinners. If you're going for surgery, you have to make sure you tell your doctor before you go for surgery. I found out the hard way. I had a tooth pulled a few years ago. When I say recently, it was actually a few years ago, and the doctor complained that I took forever to stop bleeding. And after I did some homework and my doctor did some homework, he found out that it can, in some people, act as a blood thinner. So when I had my shoulder surgery done, I had to tell my doctor, and he actually knew. He said, you need to stop the kratom, wean off of it for at least a week to get it out of your system, because you can bleed out. Your blood has a hard time clotting. So keep that in mind. And that's about it. These are my final thoughts. I hope that this has been informational to you. I hope that you can understand my journey. I hope that your journey can be as good as mine. I hope that you do your due diligence, you do the research, and don't listen to the naysayers. And yes, it's okay to be over 50 and take kratom. I'd rather do this than have to go to a freaking doctor and get prescriptions. As I said, it's a game changer for me. I got to bring this up too. On one of my final thoughts. The FDA has been up the kratom's ass, and I'm sure you can understand why, because they're not making money off prescriptions. Some states have banned it. Some states allow it, but there are certain counties that don't allow it. If you're going to follow this journey, look at your local laws, check the legalities out. Also, if you're going abroad, make sure that you check the airlines and make sure that you check the country you're going to. I had gone to Aruba some time ago. I was going to bring it with me, and thank God I didn't, because come to find out, it's not allowed on an airplane, and in Aruba, it is illegal. Who would have thunk that as well? I mean, it's an island. It's a party island. I thought when I would go there, there'd be places all over trying to sell kratom. But kratom there is like a dirty secret. And most people would not even bother trying to sell it because they abide by the laws down there. They're very good about that. Another thing I want to bring up is that you can potentially have issues with family and friends. Because of the bad rap that kratom has gotten, you're going to have people that care about you and love you, and they're going to try and sway you from trying this or doing any research. I suggest strongly that you talk to them, and I suggest strongly that you bring them through the process with you. That is a game changer too. If they know they're involved and they see what you're doing and what's going on, hopefully they'll understand and they'll support you. And that's about it for now. This is my journey, and I was very passionate. I am very passionate about telling it to you. There are so many people out there that are going through pain. They're suffering. They can't get pain medication because of a bunch of idiots that abused it. It's just not right. It's not fair. I hope it changes. And I hope it changes by taking some of this stuff instead of getting prescription drugs. My final thing that I'd like to ask you, if you don't mind, if you've gotten this this far in the video is I'm going to ask you to like, share, subscribe, and please leave a comment. Especially if there's something that you disagree with in this video, or maybe something else that you know that I need to know. I don't have an ego. I don't have an issue with people telling me they're part of the story or what they think. I encourage you and implore you to please comment. Thank you again, and I will see you on the next video. God bless.